like I was caught on the toilet going like, ha!
How are you doing? My name is AshuriiYuki. We are doing a podcast, Hermit and I, about Twitch streaming and how to do it. And this is the perfect example of what we're going to be talking about today. That shit never works the way you want it to. Literally ever.
Welcome to Twitch stream. If it's not a technical issue, it's not a stream,
It's
my
not
dude.
a stream. This is the best.
Oh,
No.
I'm clipping Serene Talon. So Ash, I think that you might need to boost me up the wazoo, Dingus3.
Oh, I boosted
everyone's
you
like,
up to the wazoo. You're hitting red, boys.
I'm loud bean. I am a loud bean.
Let me loud you as loud as I am.
There we go. There we go, my dudes. See,
All right.
water. I have caffeine.
Yeah, that's because I've had liquor today, so I need water.
Oh!
Anyways, so
Fantabulous.
welcome, beans. Just letting you know, everyone, we are gonna have alerts off today. I like all sound alerts, everything's gonna be off. So if don't use it, if you do, we will refund you. So yeah, this will be heavily edited because we'll be posting it to the other sites. And we aren't going to be reading chat as much, but if you have questions, feel free to post them in the Discord under hashtag TwitchReadyQ&A. So yeah, this is a new podcast that we decided to do because everyone was like super liking our Twitch Ready or So You Want to Be a Twitch Streamer thing that we did for OMG Con online, and so we're doing it now, and we're kind of going more in depth with it. And having guests join us, and it's gonna be we don't know the exact schedule of it, but we'll be doing it more frequently. So
well, it's conversations that we all need to have, I think, because like there's the passion aspect of it, but then there's also like the logistical, like doing things smarter, not harder.
Yes.
Right. No worries, Bat. We love you, my dude. And Ash, you'll have to rein me in because you know me. I'll read two conversations at once.
You're
you know?
you're good.
But we thought that it's important to do this because in general, having an opportunity to talk to people and who do this full time from a very not practical but also relaxed aspect, right? Can be very, very potentially helpful because when you start out with Twitch streaming, like you go on to Twitch and everyone's saying different things, and that's right, but for Ash and myself, we thought it would be good to like come forward and say like this has been our experience moving forward on a platform, like what's the road to full-time path to affiliate and path to partner. Now path to partner, Ash, I know for a fact that we're gonna have to wait on that because we don't know, but at the same time, when you're starting out though, it can be very lonely, it can be very challenging, and it can be very confusing, especially if you're going into it not with a clear idea of what you want to do with your Twitch channel, right? It's a thing where it's like when you first start out, it's like I like streaming, but then if you start taking more seriously, it's like, well, then what are the next realistic steps that you need to take?
And especially if you are looking from a viewer perspective and going, this looks fun and a great time. I want to do this. But like, how? Because you can look it up and everyone's going to be like, download OBS and click go live. But man, no.
Well, there's a lot
so
behind
much
it.
more.
If we wanted to talk about this realistically from a bullet point standpoint, Ash, there are a lot of things beforehand, in terms of resources, in terms of realistically also being able to do it. Because the reality is that most people, I would say, and I've experienced this, most people don't realize that OBS, while not being super heavy, if you're only using one machine, there are limitations in what you're capable of doing, depending on the actual thing. Because like, I have a laptop from a few years ago. It's an Omen gaming laptop that I bought when I was transitioning out of living in my car. And what I discovered with that, just doing video and audio when I was helping live stream bands, is that unless you really understand what OBS does and how to do it, and you do your research, if you just open up OBS and you load up like a scene with a game, and then you're like, why is everything choppy? What's going on with this damn
Yeah.
foolery? It's like, it's because there are like, it's great to have passion, right? But there are some procedural things that you need to do first.
Yeah, there's a lot that you need to do, and you need to know not only like how it works, but what different things mean. Like, you have to actually understand how internet works and how speeds work. You have to understand like how your microphone works and how sound design works. Like, you're basically doing like 35 people's jobs. We are getting a raid. We'll acknowledge them just a little bit before we go on to our next topic today. But we have a Starlight Embers raid. Welcome everyone to the Twitch Ready podcast. Thank you so much everybody for raiding in. I'm super excited to have the Nebula here. Hello. We are talking about this episode is called So You Want to Be a Twitch Streamer, and we're really going from the bottom up on like how you start out and how to go from being a viewer to being a new
I'm sorry, Ash. I love you.
You got called out.
What? Why Hermit look like Ukrainian gangster? This cause I am, bro.
It's because
Okay?
you are.
Today, Ukrainian gangster Hermit tell you how to be Twitch streamer. Right? Listen to
Yes.
Russian hard bass every day, all day. Just kidding.
You're cute.
Love you, Apex.
Y'all are precious. So for the first like big topic that we really wanted to talk about is like, where do you start when you on your journey to becoming a Twitch streamer, and not like, hey, I've actually streamed already. Like, how do you start? And the biggest decision, which fortunately the internet's really already decided for us. There used to be a decision, and it was Streamlabs or OBS. And Streamlabs recently decided that for us. So,
Well, I mean, so there are a couple options, right? I mean, so funnily enough, I've been thinking about doing a video for that, funnily with Apex and the Compendium, right? Was teaching people that there are various different kinds of programs that you can utilize for Twitch streaming, right? And so when you're first starting out, and those that just came in again from Nebula, Starlight, I love you to bits. Your stream Twitch in Russia? Should I be Boris the Hermit for the rest of the stream? No. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand me, and I'll break character. So when you're starting out with Twitch streaming, which I hope everyone that was over with the Nebula this evening, Starlight, this is another good thing. My dudes, decide at the beginning, do you want to have no face, have your face, or be a VTuber? And sometimes you can transition between all three depending on your comfort levels. Because our level of being Starlight is now a VTuber, which I love. So for those of you that are coming in, we're doing this because we feel like we need to have a more cohesive and straightforward way of talking about this. We also have in AshuriiYuki's Discord a place where you can drop a bunch of questions for all of us.
yes.
Right, Banana? Like, like you did forever, and you're well loved, my dudes. So that is a big thing. Is starting out. It's like, well, do I want to have a camera? And we were also talking about initially with your computer, you need to find out. My dudes, what your computer is capable of rendering.
Yes.
What is what your graphics card is capable of doing, what your CPU is capable of doing, and you can look these all up by identifying the parts that you have in your computer. And then I know it sounds oofy, right, my dudes? Oofy. Google it. Find out what you can do. Yeah, Rune, it may only be you, my dude, so far.
Yeah. Like, one of the biggest things when I really came back to streaming a couple of months, or literally at the beginning of this year, was Resident Evil Village was coming out, and that's when I wanted to become a horror streamer. And I took a moment to realize, like, okay, I'm now becoming a streamer. I want to stream this game. Can I stream this game realistically and have it be quality content? And I looked at my computer specs and went, haha, no, I cannot. That's not the Jimmy Jams. It's not going to work out. So I unfortunately, but also fortunately, because I love my new baby, had to drop the money to upgrade my whole PC. And we still have problems to this day. It's fine, but it works better for what it is. You really need to take a look at your current PC and go, can I afford to upgrade so that it works out? Or are we going to have to find a different solution?
You know, because what's funny, I was actually like wanting to tell a couple people were like, you know, like I have a decent gaming computer. I'm like, do you have an old laptop? And they're like,
Hmm.
why? I'm like, well, it's something that I haven't really put together yet. But what you can do, funnily enough, if you have good internet access to both, is you can game on your main gaming PC, and then you can send, right? You can
Hmm.
send the video of the game itself as an output to your laptop to capture, right, my dudes? And what that does is it helps your GPU and CPU lessen the load for streaming, because when you are streaming, my dudes, dual PC is a thing, and actually it's a great solution for those of us who are like, I want to play at the max settings possible.
Yeah.
But then there's the catch 22, right? Well, I want to play at max settings. Do you have the equipment to do so? And are you
Yeah.
willing to then also set up everything differently that way? You know, and like that's why also console streaming, my dudes, to me is a brilliant thing to do, right? Because
Yes.
all you have to do is just capture your video source. Like Ash and I do that with our Switch, and you
Yeah.
know what's funny? Every time we do that,
Runs so
unless
much
there's some,
smoother.
it's so much smoother, right?
The only hard part about like using a capture card, audio. That is the hardest part. Getting audio to work and actually being able to hear it is the hardest thing when it comes to streaming from a console or when you're using your PC and using a capture card. So
Mhm.
that's definitely something that you can decide too. And now, like on PlayStation, I don't know much about Xbox because I haven't touched my Xbox in a long time, but you can stream directly from those actually. And now I think that, don't quote me on this, but I think Stream Elements is working with PlayStation, or one of them is working with PlayStation to be able to do overlays and stuff like that too. Don't quote me on that. I need to do more research on that one in particular.
Yeah,
But
yeah, no, it's a thing. Do I? I love you, Pooh. Sorry.
one big thing too, when you're starting out, besides like taking a look at your PC and your specs and what you currently have and whether you have everything that you need to have like a great start, you need a name. And here's what is really important about a name: it needs to be easy to read, easy to spell, and easy
Don't
to
at me,
remember.
Ash.
Hey,
Don't at
yours
me,
is
my dude.
fine. No, yours
No,
is
it's.
perfect.
Do you know how many times I get called Thermit, Ash?
Like, if you take a moment and look at your name, especially if it's
It's true though.
capitalized properly, it's easy to read. But having and don't feel called out if this is your name in chat. I love all of you, I swear to God. But these are just like general like guidelines when it comes to like usernames, especially on platforms. XX.XX something something or something with 13 numbers. You don't want any of those type of things, especially if you're like looking at making streaming your career, because you're immediately going to be thought of as a bot or someone that's not serious. People take a look at that and they're like, you sus, man. Sorry. You want a name that someone can look at. You have to think about it basically from a business point of view and go, hey, if that's a business, I'm going to remember what that's called. And you want to go back and purchase from them again. That's like the whole thought process behind your name. It's a brand.
I mean, what's also funny is that you have to enjoy. Like, you have to think if you're doing this both as either a passion, hobby, or as a career. Really think about it, because
Yes.
you know,
It'll change
it.
how you do things from the start. Like you can change throughout, but you really need to sit down and think with yourself like, okay, yes, as something I want to do as a hobby, or like I really am like, this is it.
I mean, to be honest, my friends, when I first started, I was sitting in a Jedi robe in a tank top, sipping scotch at my old computer, going, "Here, what should I name my Twitch name?" And at the time, I hadn't thought, the longevity of it. The funny thing now is, though, is that you can make long names work for you
Mm-hmm.
if you turn it into the lore of what you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you're more present with people, in general. Is that a super Murgatroyd as well?
Hello,
Mr. Charisma, thank you for
Super.
following, Ash.
And thank you, Mr. Christopher, for dropping a follow. I appreciate you, my bean. So another thing that I wrote down when it comes to creating your username, you want something that is a great nickname as well. For example, when you go into someone's Twitch channel and you've never met them before, Thermit, you want to be able to, like, when they read your name, it can be cut down or it can be modified to like something that they can make personalized. For example, no one on here calls me AshuriiYuki. Let's be real. Nunya. It's either Ash, Ashuri, Yuki, or some weird nickname in between.
Mom.
My sons call me Mom. Yeah. Everyone in chat calls me Mom. And then Hermit, you've got Hermit, Hermie, Thermit.
Stop. It's Hermit. Okay.
You will forever be Hermie.
That's Hermit, okay? Mommy, sorry. Dang it, Mr. Charisma. Oh, no.
Oh
And now
no,
it
Lord
begins.
is in
And
with
now
the
it
step
begins.
bro and mommy.
Oh, no. Here we go. No, but it's true, my dudes. Like the thing is, like think about a name that can be shortened as well, because as you are going on to the rest of Twitch, my dudes, you are going to want to interact with more people and like create genuine. And I want to say this, smacking the table, genuine friendships. Okay, my dudes. And the reason being, my friends, is that the tricky thing with streaming in general is that networking is a dirty word for a lot of people. Because the connotation of it in general is that you're not actually developing a heartfelt relationship. One of the things that I really love that Super said a while back was follows are free. It's up to you to make that a friendship, right? And that's actually the reluctant Modoc. That's what you want, Mr. Christmas. But it's very true. I think also when you step onto the platform as well, it's important to realize that to me anyway, there is not a separation in how I approach somebody in terms of friendship online versus as if I was standing in front of them. And there's a big misconception there. It's like, oh, well, it's just an online person. Like that's a human being. The ethics of generating a genuine friendship are the same as if you bumped into somebody at a coffee shop working on a piece of music like yourself, my dudes. Yeah, and Rosa, it can also be fun. It depends on your perspective of what you're doing, you know. So for one thing, simple thing, like Ash was saying, having a name that you can also disseminate down into something simple to say makes it easier for people to connect with you. Which is why, like, like Rune was saying, like, The Reluctant Hermit, are you serious? I'm like, I'm never rebranding because I love it now, and it's me. But Hermit is the easiest thing to do. I don't know anyone else that does that. Actually, I have met one other Hermit, which is hilarious. But in network moments in my life, they were amazing. I mean, and my dudes, Mr. Charisma is a wonderful example of what genuine networking looks like. He's a brilliant voice actor, and the advice that he's given to me in general has both armed me for the things that I'm looking forward to in terms of voice acting and Twitch streaming. So when you find someone that like shows genuinely good communication and has experience, listen to them. It's not like, oh, that's cool, bro. I'll just, like, go spam my link in everyone's chat. Don't.
No,
Don't
never do that.
You
We actually have that written for like the next 4 podcasts too. So, oh God. Moose got me laughing. Sorry. Moose is like, wait, how do you do that finger heart? And for those of you that are listening to the audio podcast, I do 2 different hand hearts, a full hand heart, but then also one where you use your middle fingers and your pointer fingers to make like a...
Yeah, but Mr. Charisma, but like, I'm gonna say this. My dudes, if you ever record anything, do it without pants. Your life will change.
Makes
Free
my
the
life
cheeks,
so
my
much better.
dudes.
I don't remember the last time I like wore regular people pants on a stream. It's all about comfort, man. It's all about drive. It's all about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Please tell me someone in chat knows that song. I love The Rock.
Which song?
It's about drive. It's about power. We stay hungry. We devour. Put in the work. Put in the hours to take what's ours.
Wait, super. I mean, okay. Derails podcast. When should you actually wear pants?
We devour.
This is the stuff we all need to know.
Exactly.
You know?
No pants.
No pants for days.
No pants, only eyes. Oh God. So because we love getting on tangents. That's gonna be the entirety of this podcast ever is gonna be tangents. I'm sorry to all of you. It's educational with comedy. Because we can't not be funny. Anyway.
I was listening to Russian hard bass and wearing the Adidas tracksuit. And by the way, this is getting a little bit saucy, but like I look like a Russian gangster until because it's red, yellow. Steven Universe, bro! I love it to bits. Sorry, I had to.
I love it.
But number one takeaway from podcast: don't wear pants when you stream. I mean, I do because I get up a lot.
I don't.
I do because like.
Nah, man. You wear pants, but you wear pajama pants and or like leggings, so that way when you get up, you can still like you're fine. Or you get my degenerate community where you can just wear boxers and nobody cares.
Just do it. Free the cheeks, my dudes.
Do
like
it.
Mr. Christmas, their emote says, no pants.
But like
No
that's also like even like that's not even about like starting off stream with that, but that's a big tip. Like which I'll write down. Yeah, be comfortable, and we'll talk about that in other episodes going forward. But if you're not comfy or if you're too hot or too cold, your content gonna show. Your content, I can speak English, is going to show that like you're not having it, my dudes. Like, let's be real. Let's dress for the job that we want. And that's
which is like what you were saying with a brand, Ash. But by the way, my dudes, can we get some love in the chat for AshuriiYuki, who is a brilliant person who plans these things a lot more than myself.
I'm a producer. It's my life.
It's right. Otherwise,
I'm a producer, but the things that I produce, did they ever happen properly? No. But I do the producing.
Right? So, I mean, with production, my dudes, you know, and again, there are different kinds of things. There are hobbyists, brilliant. And then there's a bit of in between, and there's, you know, you're doing this as a profession. If you're doing it as a profession, one of the main things that you can, like any YouTube video that I've gone to is like, so you want to start streaming. Find your niche, find what you love playing, stick with that for a certain amount of time.
I just got a
until
delivery.
You become established. My dudes.
Nuggets.
You got the food?
I got nuggets delivered.
Go take care of your food, Ash.
No, I can talk.
Oh no, it's delivered to your table.
Yeah, I got it delivered to my table.
Oh, Moose. So that is a really good question, actually, that has to do with branding. How do I stop comparing myself to other streamers? Okay, so that is the biggest pitfall for everyone.
Ever.
Everyone does this. My dudes, everyone does this. And Ash, if you want to eat some food, I will diatribe on this.
I mean, I eat food and stream all the time. This is nothing new to me. Also, can we normalize eating food and streaming and not have it be weird, please?
It's important.
I'm really hot. Dudes. I'm gonna let that sit. That was.
No, so Moose, it's a thing. Like everyone is. I think the thing that we have to do, and it's unfortunate, is that there's not like a set mechanism. I will give you the things that I do, all right? So, for one, for those of you that don't know this, when I stream, I turn off my view counter. I don't actually see it.
Same, turn that shit off.
I turn it off because regardless of whether or not you're a hobbyist or you're a professional, being present in the moment that you're having with your friends is the most important thing. And it's something that I was talking about with Mr. Charisma a while back, was that authentically being present with people that there is no stress around it, right? You're just being you and authentically yourself and being in the moment makes a difference, not only for
Yes.
yourself, but for those that are hanging out with you. Because at the moment that you, like, and again, different people work different ways. So this
Exactly.
works for me, this works for Ash. Now, also, this is the more woolly part of this. Having the phrase in your mind, everyone is in their own journey, sounds kind of innocuous, but it's true, right, my
Yes.
dudes?
It's a big deal. Like Herman and I, we have come to the place where we know we can compare our journeys without comparing ourselves to each other, if that makes sense. So I, like Hermit is my mentor. Let's be real here. I've said it
Oh
enough
no.
times. Hermit is my mentor here. So I'm constantly talking to him about where I am at. This is a daily occurrence. We talk to every night. This is us talking. We look at our numbers. We're like, okay, what can we do better? That's a part we'll talk about later. Numbers is a whole other topic, which we'll hit later tonight. But we'll talk and we'll compare and contrast. Okay, so you know that this has worked for you, but it does not work for me. What things can maybe we take away from each other to make each other's stream better or work together on it?
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the other thing that goes back to actually, what is your theme will really, 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 really help, my dudes. Because if your theme is variety show purely that, start making overlays that look like a theater. Start making things that look like an actual variety show. Go in it, maybe have a funny thing where like you can totally have like a fake microphone that comes up and like, next up we have an entirely different concept, or like, if you
Like,
really
roll
love
with
variety
it.
shows, roll with it. Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, bless you, let's play, my dude. Um,
And one thing
which
that's
were on a small stream. Who let's play? Who did you find me through, if I might ask? And also like Ash, roll
Auntie
with it.
Elfie! Hi! Auntie
Is that
Elfie's
Auntie Elfie?
here! She just dropped a follow.
Oh
Hello,
yes,
Bean.
Mr. Charisma has a good point. If you can meme something, my dudes, and it creates
Yes.
lore in your channel, it's an enjoyable thing, my
Yes.
dude. So
That's a
like,
big thing.
if you can make it look like you're, nomming a microphone in some way, it's yes. Oh, ADHD. I got you. Let's play Lovely Bean. Um,
Oh wow. Okay, train of thought just left.
Show your passion or personality, Ash, was the other thing that we're talking about. Is that what
Okay.
you're passionate about?
Yes, I
'Cause,
just
Ash,
found
you
my
and I-
train of thought.
You and I have different things that we're passionate about,
Yes.
but they connect back to what we're doing.
Yes. So one thing that I was going to bring up, I started out as a variety streamer because I didn't like I'm going to play what I want to play, and that's still true to this day, but we kind of found out on accident that I love horror games. I mean, I knew that, but we found it out. And then we noticed that like one thing that I do, and if anybody here has, I think we use spreadsheets. Yeah, you can use Google spreadsheets for this. I take all of my statistics from the past 2 months. I write down in a spreadsheet the game, the numbers, like the max views, average views, subscribers followed, like every number you can possibly get. I put it in a spreadsheet. And then you select all of that info. You can make bar graphs. And that'll tell you what your strength is and what your weakness is. Just take off the days with like special events or like really, really big raids, because that will skew your numbers. Like if one of your best friends like knows you're streaming and they, for example, if Hermit decides to raid me, I cannot count that in my statistics at all. Because
Yeah, throw me under the bus.
well, it's because then you'll flood me with like a horde of people, and it like I love it and I appreciate it, I really do. But when I'm trying to learn about my channel, I have to get rid of like that day in particular so that I can really look or like subtract that amount of people so I can learn like, okay, I know that this type of game works really well for me, but this type of game real don't. And that's something that's really big, and you'll learn more as you continue streaming that like this works, but that don't. And you just have to make sacrifices sometimes, even if it's something you really enjoy. Like if you're doing this for a career, you got to kill it sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's a funny thing, Ash. Like, so Ash and I come from I would say from almost opposite ends of the angles, right? I do a lot of stuff, but based off of feeling, which to me is good for my heart, not for my head sometimes, right, my dudes? So paying attention to the things that you enjoy, but also engage more people that
Hmm.
make them enjoy it as well is important. So it's a thing, my friends, that you have to walk that line, right, between being in good integrity with what you love, whilst also not making yourself work harder. Right, my dudes. There's a great thing that I learned from our good captain, my dudes, is that it took me a while for a bit where I realized that I was kind of bouncing all over the things. I'm like, I really love fantasy RPGs. This is really like my thing. Like, I love Lord of the Rings. I love Monty Python. I love to sing. I'm a bard. That's what I love to do. And then I realized after talking with Raven, he was like, that the smartest thing for you to do is to find the crossover, my dude, like a Venn diagram of
Hmm.
all the things that you can. I started playing Breath of the Wild. Why? Great game. Also, it's green. Also, it's got music. Also, it's huge. And also, on top of that, it's not super saturated.
Hmm.
And I genuinely enjoy it. It's calm enough where I can actually engage with people. And afterwards, I started noticing, like, oh, wow, this is something that all of us can enjoy. Whereas for a little while, I was jumping between some indie things, which don't get me
Hmm.
wrong, were a lot of fun. I wasn't meeting very many people,
Yeah.
through it. I was still having an absolutely wonderful time with the people that I had met, and that is joyful. But in a longevity concept of moving forward with the things that you love,
Hmm.
sometimes realistically, you have to pay attention to certain statistics. It does
Hmm.
not mean that you have to take the soul out of what you're doing. It just means that you have to use that part of the logic
Hmm.
and part of the heart at the same time, my dudes. Otherwise, if you do all feeling and you're like, "Where isn't everything working? I'm play. I
That's the people that you see on TikTok going, "Why am I still at 3 average viewers? It's the hot tub streamers." That's
because
those people.
yeah, it's a funny thing. That's
Also, like, what one thing to jump off that hermit is, like, I'm a very, like, I'm a business mindset. I'm very into numbers, which is weird because I'm really bad at math. But like, I like looking at those and going from like that point of view because I have that business background. But one thing like that you mentioned too, like, yes, find your niche, but one of the big things too is don't listen to the people out there that are telling you that you have to play one game to get big. That's not true. it it can help to build a community based off of that one game, but there's a higher chance that those people are not going to follow you to playing another game. Like, that's a
it
big
is a
thing.
double-edged sword, right? So Ash, so that's it. That yeah. Um, for realistically, Ash, the thing that I discovered with Breath of the Wild, right, is that I realize, and this is an important thing, my friends. If your entire content is only directly about said thing, and you're not connecting with the people that are actually there, then what ends up happening is you have a situation where essentially it's like being in a room with almost walls around you where people are watching what you're doing, they can hear your voice, but you're not turning to them and saying, so how are you actually doing, who are you, love to get to know you. And that's why it's important, like, if you are playing one game, because right now, like, I am playing Breath of the Wild almost exclusively. Why?
Hmm.
Because I love it.
There's a lot of
but
content
also
in it.
but also, the kind of personality I am, I want to talk about more than what's just happening in the game with the people that I'm hanging out with. Why? Because in that sense, you're engaging with something that they love, and you're
Hmm.
also making sure that the people that are there feel valued for who they are in that space.
Yes.
What it creates is a more holistic community that actually cares for each other. And I would also encourage people, my dudes, create commands that allow people to engage with each other in chat. It's why I have like exclamation point hug at, exclamation point
Hmm.
thank at, exclamation point welcome at.
Hmm.
And innocuous, simple things like, well, why would you do it? I'm like, because each time someone does it, it makes noise. And people are like, oh, this place is not just about the thing that's behind the dingus. It's about creating an actual group of friends that can cohesively
Yeah.
actually enjoy being in the same space together, regardless of what you're doing.
Yeah, like to
Yeah,
us, this what you see here, like I'm touching the whole script. We don't care about this. Like I mean, it's fun, but like we don't give a shit about this. I made it look pretty. Yeah, we're here to teach you and to have fun
I
with
care
you.
about it.
I won't. Yeah, well, thanks. But like, what's really awesome about like having these communities and meeting these new people is like, Hermit lives like 37 hours from me. I think that's what I calculated last time. 37 hours from me, and we would have never met ever in our life if it wasn't for Twitch. And this dude is my bestie from another forest nesty, or bestie from another testy.
Language. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
we say fuck in this household. But yeah, like that's what's really great about Twitch too, is like you can, and becoming a streamer besides just a viewer, like yes, you can make so many friends becoming a viewer, but the minute you jump into the streaming world, that changes. You become friends. These people know more about me than my friends in real life. Not real life, in like my general area know about me. Like they can't not be my friends anymore, because that's dangerous. That's dangerous.
I mean, there's a thing that I saw earlier that's become like kind of a cute meme, and it's because of such social platform. I met strangers that became my best friends, right? And it's this is another interesting thing, and I think Ash, maybe we should probably table that to a whole other podcast that is
Probably.
delving into the concept of the difference between a friendship that you really experience to shifting away from what's called a para-relationship, right? So a para-relationship and a real relationship. Para-relationship is that it hinges on the fact that you only engage in one space,
That's true, yes.
right?
Like that's a whole
I-
other episode.
What I would say, my dudes, is it really important when you first start streaming, to think about the boundaries that you need for your own mental health, for your own personal safety, and the things that are important to you, my dudes. Because I guarantee you will be challenged on them consistently. Like, consistently. It's one thing to trust in the fact that, it's like, well, I'm going to go out here with the best of intentions. And I don't think I'm going to have this experience where anyone's going to troll me or, make me uncomfortable. Guess what, buddies? It will happen. The internet's a big place. That's why there are tools inside of Twitch that are important where you can create an entire list of phrases that are not allowed to even come into your chat at all. I mean, Mr. Charisma, it's like the burnout is real.
It really
if you
is.
don't create boundaries for yourself, and that can not only just be the kind of language that you experience, the kind of content that you want to create, but also, and we'll probably get into this as well, creating a schedule for yourself or the absence of one depending on your state of mind,
Yeah.
but creating a thing that works for you so that you don't burn out, because this dingus used to stream 6 days a week and it killed me,
Never again.
But to kind of go back a little bit before we go there, in order to get to that place, you have to figure out what kind of streamer do you want to be? A variety, a game specific, a genre specific, and like Ash was saying, if you have it on one thing, you run the risk. Oh, Darwin, bless your heart.
Darwin, thank you, honey, for donating, gifting 2 subs. I guess donating is not the wrong word either. Thank you, Bean. I appreciate you. So when we kind of English is not my first language. When you are starting to become a streamer and you really want to jump into what type you want to be, we talked about being a variety streamer. We talked about being game specific. I want to preface this. It's okay to do that. We're not saying like don't. We're just saying you got to be careful because you will burn out. It's not a you might burn out and you will burn out. I have seen every single person I've seen do specific games has had to switch to a different game for a certain amount of time because there's only so much unique COD and like content that you can make. Like I hate to say it, but there's only so much you can do. And this is coming from a game developer that makes these games. Like, I have a problem with COD. I do. You hear me talk about it on my streams frequently. But there's only so much that you can do before you're just like repeating the same thing over and over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you for making today a beautiful thing, because Ash and I have been wanting to do this for a long time. And as you can tell, she did a lot of work. She won't tell you how much work it took to do everything that you see here, my dudes. It took a lot of work. Also, if you're a streamer and you don't have overlays yet and you want your about section to look killer, Ash's commissions are open right now. She did my entire about section and she built my website.
I also did all of this.
And does all this stuff on Etsy.
Also, no, shut up. Herman over here, this man's, also does sound alerts and sound design and did all of our alerts, which you can't hear today because I turned them off for the sake of my editing life. Does all this amazing stuff, and you can get that too. And it's fabulous. So I don't have your link, but if you can link it in chat, I should probably have your link in chat, but yeah. When you start out streaming, friends, you don't have to have branding. You don't. It's good. It's great to do that, but it's gonna change. It will change. I've gone through how many iterations of branding in the past year? Like 7? And then just like today, did I get the new brand? No. Yes, Tuesday. I got the finish of the new branding. Like, it's going to evolve. It's okay to not have that and just go have a basic ass overlay that you get off of Google, which there are free ones on Google.
I
and use
started
that.
off with the Star Wars Rebels one, my dudes, from Stream Elements, which you can see in old clips. Actually, one of our good friends, Rune Mason, uses it. And the thing that I would say about overlays in general, my dudes, which actually we should probably go into an entire podcast about how to minimize tech issues in streams. That's a whole
don't look at my party
conversation.
stream. Don't look at my party stream because
There's a whole bunch of stuff. But my friends, finding a theme that you like to start with, and then learning to be flexible with what you're doing, and then also building on top of it. Because like for the longest time, I still have the same logo. I'm not for myself. But then I named my community the Shrubbery. And then a friend of mine sent me a great picture of one of the Knights of Ni from Monty Python saying, "We are the Knights who say Ni," as like for He-Man. I love He-Man, right? I love He-Man. Sent it to my artist. He made me a logo that says "My Dude," which is the catchphrase that I say too much, and the Knights of the Shrubbery. When you find something that makes you laugh during your streams,
save
the
that.
captain, save it. The captain has a great animated skeleton. Now has, Raven and I were in a conversation talking about fun things to add to your channel. He now has the monkey from the Pirates of the Caribbean that is on a string that will literally drop from the ceiling. Find things that make you laugh and excite your friends. Because also my dudes, there is a level of like messing with a streamer that is both hilarious and also helpful because it creates a level of play. That's a big thing, my dudes. Dickspur.
Download Dickspur.
Yeah. This podcast is not brought to you by
God,
Dickspur.
I wish. Oh, God, I wish.
We could talk about that, Ash. We have a friend that actually works with them.
Okay, good, because, like, hit me up. I will promote your shit for days.
But it's true, like, I mean, Raven's a great example of community engagement. The amount of time that I've spent with him since when he first started, I remember when Raven was... I was there at the time when you were streaming Ocarina of Time, Raven, and I watched all the iterations of the things that you built, and it's because he paid attention to what was activating everyone's joy.
Oh, God. I have a runny nose because I had forced myself not to cry. One thing, and we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, Hermit, that we wish we had: save the VOD in every clip you can from your first stream. Save it.
I have it on
It's
Facebook.
like
'Cause I used to restream it to Facebook.
it's
But it
like
is
not having your baby pictures, because you're gonna want to look back and be like, first of all, cringe. Second of all, man, this is where we came from. So like, I have the only clip I have is from the first days of me streaming, but is not the very first, and that's of me playing Minecraft with my friends. Which I'm glad, like, there's an inside joke to our original friends, whatever you guys want to call yourself, my sons, that were here, and so they know that joke, but like new people don't know that joke. But it's good to have that and look back and go, oh, okay, I feel a lot better where I am now, but like it's special, you know?
it's good to create context as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the biggest things that I think, and I've talked with a couple streamers about this, as you progress, my dudes, if you're doing this from the standpoint of it being either a passion that you really care about, or an occupation, my dudes, we get lost and not seeing where we've been and where we are. And then we get fixated on the things that are not, quote unquote, in our minds working. And we don't realize how much work we've put into something. And learning to take joy and gratitude in the amount of love and dedication you put into things really helps. And sometimes you need to be reminded. Sometimes you have to have conversations like Ash and I do. Like I would say once a week, Ash and I check in with each other specifically about, am I doing enough? Am I creating enough beautiful things for people to enjoy? And then we get in our heads about it, and then we have to remind each other, saying, hey, 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 hey,
We
hey,
usually
hey,
yell
hey,
at each other.
hey. It's okay to be in doubt, but it's most important to remember why you're doing the thing, and that it's okay to love. It's okay to also give yourself the space to kind of go, okay, I'm getting caught up in the details I can't control. I need to refocus on the things that matter. And that's why, like, there was a great conversation I had with Raven. There's a shirt that we have, which actually on his channel, when people get that shirt, all of that goes to a charity. The letters she wrote on her arms, I believe, Raven, I apologize if I'm remembering. I was in the middle of my journey after, like, dedicating myself to becoming
Mm-hmm.
a content creator, because I lost both occupations at the beginning of the pandemic, and then someone told me, like, you should still do this. I got fixated on details that I could not control and was spinning myself around. And all he asked me was, oh no, all he said was, remember why you started? I started because I wanted to connect with people and make people laugh. And once you have kind of like that center of what you're doing, my dudes,
Mm-hmm.
you can retreat back into that place and come back out feeling stronger each time, because it becomes easier each time you check back into that place. It's kind of like that beautiful film, Ash. You watched The Guardians, I think, right? With Jack Frost and Santa and the Easter Bunny. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's an animated film that, like, I think went over everyone's heads. All right, so I
I
recommend
don't
go
watch
get
lots
it.
of movies.
Go check out The Guardians, my dudes. There's a brilliant scene in that film where Santa Claus is talking to Jack Frost, because no one can see Jack Frost because no one
Mm-hmm.
really believes in him. It's the whole plot line. But Jack is really, really having a hard time with no one believing in him,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Santa comes to him and essentially says, you need to find your center. And he shows Jack a Russian doll. And he says, you peel back each layer. And essentially what you're looking at is everyone sees the fluffy, beautiful, like Santa Claus. And then there's the guardian underneath with the swords. And then there's the tinkerer that loves making things. And then there's the husband that is a good partner. And at the very center, he says, but my center is, I am a child in wonder. And with streaming and with any creative process, if you lose sight of what your creative center is, you're going to flounder.
Yes.
And the most important thing about that experience is to not judge yourself. It's to learn to step back and come from a place of observance and say, this is a practice. What am I doing that is serving me? What am I doing that is not serving me? And don't judge yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it. Because we all stumble. Man, like if you judge yourself every time you got out of bed and didn't make your bed, you'd be kicking yourself in the nuts every single day. Figuratively speaking. Don't do that. It's bad for you. It's bad for your health. Why did I say that? Thanks, brain.
You're good.
Thanks.
So
Go ahead, Ash.
Once you figured out your branding, so we've hit branding pretty hard. Like it's a big deal. It's not a big deal like right when you start out, but it's a big deal to at least start it and start figuring it out. Because if you start going in a way and then like you have a branding that you don't really know is there, then you're like completely switch. Everyone's gonna be confused. But once let's say you started doing your first stream, you got your name, you got your branding, you got your schedule, you got your game. You've taken all the advice, though I'm blacking out on half of all of what we've said up this far because y'all broke us. You got to start thinking about affiliate. And this will be the hardest thing you've ever done in your life. It is so much harder than it sounds. Granted, I am not really towards the path of partner yet, but like we're working towards it. Whereas Hermit, you are a lot closer. And then of course we have Raven in chat Raven is there. Look at the beautiful check mark.
You know, and it's all a journey. And I think the thing that like Ash, you said this to me the other day, is that if you make the journey about a destination, you're gonna have a bad time.
It's not gonna be fun.
So the most important thing, my dudes, is to pay attention to some of the stuff that we've said earlier about actually developing genuine, real relationships, my dudes, because it's I don't know how to put this. It's the difference between showing up to a band to genuinely watch them and see what they do, right, and to actually engage with what they do, and showing up and throwing flyers everywhere saying like, look, I'm in a band. It's like, don't do that. So with getting to affiliate, there are some very simple things that like you can follow. One, streaming every day, my dudes, is not going to help you. I know that everyone says like, well, it's the most discoverable way of doing things. I'm like, no, it's not. For one
They'll
thing,
get bored.
Well, one also, you'll burn out.
Yeah.
You know, you will burn out on doing a thing because I guarantee you, my dudes, I don't know if you've ever played the same video game every single day, but not actually engaging with it, it'll become trying in general. Stream for 12 hours every day. I mean, Zune, well, the thing is that like no one tells you this, right? So
nobody.
One of the
it's
best pieces of
nowhere.
advice that I ever got was when you're starting out, 3 hours.
Yeah.
At most.
Small streams.
And small streams, right? And also pick days or times where you're most comfortable and most joyful.
This is the only time I will say to watch that viewer count like a hawk. Because if you want to speed run this, which like it's affiliate, go ahead, speed run it. You want to watch that, and while you're streaming, watch it. Like, don't get discouraged by it. But say you are finally at that 3 or 4 people are watching you. It's amazing, best feeling in the world. The minute that drops down to 2, and you are at least like a little bit into your stream, calmly end it for the day. Because if you see it at 2 for a while, that's going to put you at a 2 average. It's okay to end it. It's okay to have your boyfriend watching on the computer behind you, your mom at home setting it up on her computer, your friend. But also, you need to be okay with the fact that your friends at home and your family 99.9% of the time are not going to watch you stream. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, Ashley, I have a core group of friends that, like, they're all into video games. They come by maybe once every few months.
Which is great, but, like, some people are just not into it.
And I like I said, like, I told them, like, dudes, like, you have your own... This is a big thing to remember also. Do not ever start anything with the expectation that people have to do a thing.
Oh, yeah. Because they don't.
Never do that.
They will leave.
They don't. Well, it's also just kind of gross because it's like it's the idea that you're not also respecting their lives.
Exactly.
Dudes. You know, but again, to kind of go back to what we were saying, smaller amounts of time, figure out what's good for you, but
Mm-hmm.
also raid out every single time you're done.
Does not matter how many people you have in your chat, raid out.
You know, and also find the people, my dudes, that don't care about that number. That's another sort of like small pro tip. If you raid into somebody and they're like, "Oh, with one viewer, cool, dude," it's like, it's the thought that counts.
Yes.
The integrity behind the thought is what really, really matters the entire time that you're doing this.
Yeah, because you're trusting your 1, 2, 3 people with their community, and that's a big responsibility. And they should be hype about that you chose them, whether you know them or not, to go in.
Mm-hmm. I mean, also as you start exploring more things, my dudes, like you'll meet. Well, I have met someone. Right, Cinerart, exactly. Like I think I met Raven through my friend Archaic One. And then pay attention to where they go, my dude. It's why I like to stick around for raids. In fact, I lurk a lot of raids that I either I go into myself or my friends raid into because it's like, well, the people that I know. Yeah, Zunix. Oh my gosh.
Do your research.
Check out the number of times.
Yeah.
Someone early and they were dropping.
Have a friend or a mod go and like stream snipe them real quick and just be like, first of all, have them type in chat, "Hey, how long you be on? I need to head out real quick, but I would like to keep watching you," like nonchalant, so that way you know that they're not going to raid out right away. And then make sure that they are a safe place for your community, because this happens to me quite frequently. Like I will check to see if someone is about to end or if they're still going, and then I'll raid out to them, but they're about to end. I'm like, you were fine 3 seconds ago. Like, and that's okay to do raid trains. That's totally fine. But it's definitely try to avoid them if possible, because it makes the streamers sometimes feel ako taco, like they have to continue streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Do your research.
I mean, well, Zune was saying that as well. Like you really do have to pay attention a little bit to where you're going. Sometimes, my dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's also what this is actually a really good thing that I would mention. Kristen, how are you doing, you lovely bean? Pay attention to when people if people start asking you to raid certain people in your chat. That is okay if you say that you don't know where to go, then you open up that conversation.
Yes.
I will say, if you create the precedent that everyone can throw a name at you in chat while you're streaming, my dudes, you're going to get overwhelmed, and then you always disappoint somebody.
Yeah. It's important to, instead of asking who should I raid out to, one thing that we do here in the Wolfpack is, who do you want to see me connect with in the future? Like, would you like to see me become friends with, connect with, maybe play games with? And that way I can look them up maybe while we're raiding out, or to see like, okay, is this someone I'm interested in? But that way you can actually take those names and put them in a list, be like, okay, I can check these people out later, watch some VODs, see if they're safe, and then raid out to them at a later date. And that way, like, if there's something that you're interested in becoming friends with, like, hey, you have their name now.
Mm-hmm. What that also does, it creates a level of like trust between you and your friends, my dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, more recently, the last couple months, met Miyakota Rodvid, who I love to bits. Right, I'm getting to know a lot of her friends, and I've told them, like, I want to meet more of your friends. DM me the names, my dudes, because what that does, it allows me to still connect with the people that I have, either haven't rated in a while, or who I want to connect more with, but also gives me an avenue to get to know people, and then I can go see them myself, and then if I like their content, if I like who they are and what they're doing, then I can do that next time as well. Yeah, Rosa, I mean, Kai Fox does a brilliant job of that, right? Love you, Firebug.
Also, send Kai Fox all the love and support, please. They had surgery the other day, and they need love.
Exactly. Yeah, I need to call her and see if she's doing all right.
Yeah. We were talking about community a moment ago, and I have spent a lot of time thinking about communities and really the different types of people in them, and I broke them down into like a couple categories plus subcategories, because there's different types of viewers, and you will realize this throughout your time streaming. So there's the 3 main types, which are those who watch you, and those could be just like general people or lurkers. Those who follow you, meaning they do drop a follow and they check you out on other social media, they join your Discord, stuff like that. And then those who sub. People are not obligated to follow, they are not obligated to sub. It is a gift if they do. But those are the 3 main types of people that you're going to experience in your chat. People stay, people go, it's just how it is. Then there's subcategories of viewers. There's active chatters, which we see chatting here today, and y'all are lovely. And then we have lurkers. Both are equally important because there's different types, and appreciated because there's different types of viewers on Twitch. In some communities you might be more active in, whereas others you might be more passive in, and that's totally okay.
Well, it's also like myself, Ash. Like you know, I am a serial lurker.
You're lurky turkey.
I know. I'm a lurky turkey. You know, I'll have people who are like, I'll lurk the entire time, and then they'll raid somebody, and I'll put the raid thing in there, and they're like, Hermit, you were in my stream the entire time. I'm like, yes, and the reason being, my dudes, is that you know, I'm an ambivert.
Mm-hmm.
I have moments of being very, very extroverted, and then there's like, I just want someone to hang out with, and I'll go do that. I'll just go hang out and be quiet in someone's space and enjoy that space, my dudes. And so, please, 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 don't make the mistake. I don't remember the name of them, but I saw a video on YouTube of this person who basically started shouting at her stream, you know, I do this full time. It's only $5. Why aren't you doing this? Like I do, and it's like, excuse you? Nix, love you to bits.
Welcome, Bean. Hello.
You know, do not create expectations for other people. The only person that you should be creating expectations for is for yourself.
But don't set those too high.
And don't set those too high.
Or you will stress.
I mean, you know, well, the one thing that I would say that could be a whole other subcategory is that both Ash and I know that there are some days where you have brain weasels that we're like, oh, I don't really want to go on today, but it's just the brain weasels.
And what do we say? Would we get brain weasels, Hermit?
Just go do the thing.
Bonk.
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 Bonk the brain weasels. Do the thing.
We bonk them.
If your body, my dudes, if your body is like, if you're feeling feverish, sweaty, ill,
don't stream.
Don't.
If you're mentally like messy, do it anyways. Well, but like to an extent.
Yeah, you know, be with the friends that you have, be present with them, and just let people know, like, this is how I'm feeling today. And also, I will say this: there's a difference between being honest and transparent as well, my dude. So, what we were talking about earlier with boundaries. Figure out where that line is for you, because it's kind of like any conversation. If you told a person that you're talking to every thought that you had, they'd be like, that's a lot to process. I don't know what to say to you, my dude. If you disseminate what's going on in your mind down to like, I'm having a bad day because I'm feeling a little bit doubtful. What that does is it creates an opportunity for everyone to connect with you and reassure you, but also gives you enough privacy as well to where you can think about those things and work on those after you receive love and support.
Yes.
Because otherwise, if you give every single detail, my dudes, it's a lot.
Yes.
It's a lot, and it's a lot for you as well.
Yes. And it's only okay to do that if you have that kind of relationship with those people. Like if you're
rapport.
Like Hermit,
yes.
If I'm in a bitchy mood or if I'm pissed to high hell, it's totally okay for me to just send him a voice text like meh, because he knows I just need to scream it to the world. It's not me putting it on his shoulders. It's me just going wah. And like to my Twitch chat as well, they also yell at me when they can notice that I'm upset and I don't tell them. Like if I'm like, hey, I'm a little upset, but they realize like I have not told them the full story. They're like, Mom.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I'm just checking in with some of your notes, you lovely bean.
I
covered
think
a
we've
lot today.
I think we've covered most of the notes, but we do have a substantial amount of questions.
Oh, let's go.
So-
What's going on with the questions?
Okay, so we have a section in the Discord, and if anybody has questions currently that are not in there, join the Discord. You know it, mans. Join the Discord. There is a section called Twitch Ready Q&A, and you can post all your questions in there, and there is a bunch of them already. So let me pull them up on my phone, because if I mess with Discord, Hermit goes away. I know my own Discord. Where are you? Where are you? There it is. Okay, so the first question we have, the name is Shanble, but I don't know what your Twitch name is. I don't know if that lines up. So if that's your name on Discord, let me know on here. Darwin, is that you? Is that you? I think that's you. Yeah, yep, that's you. Okay, so the first question is, and we'll have this will be like the conversation part of the night. I mean, this has been mostly conversation, but yeah. Okay, so what made you decide to stream in the first place? This is not drinkable soda. Nope. That is.
What made me want to stream in the first place?
Yes.
Well, to be perfectly honest, my dudes, I was in a very, very kind of like strange place. I discovered Twitch tangentially back in December of 2019. My friend and I started a company together where we decided to start streaming live bands, and it's because we could make it so that people could actually hear the band like it was an entire setup. My dudes, like where it sounded really, really, really clear. And he showed me what Twitch was, and I was like, "That's really kind of cool." And he's like, "You should consider it, dude." And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, because you stream on Facebook all the time." I was playing guitar all the time on Facebook and just talking. He's like, "You might like it." Pandemic happens, right? And my buddy reached out to me, and we were just talking about the day, because I was a massage therapist before for about 10 years, and I was doing live sound as well. Which are two things that involve interpersonal like connection and conversation, and tech and audio setup. And I was telling him, like, dude, I don't know what to do with my days. Like, I've been playing Divinity 2 all day and drinking scotch with my friends, but I'm starting to feel kind of burnt out on that, and like I need something productive and fun to do. And he's like, dude, why don't you just start a Twitch channel? I'm like, well, I wouldn't know what to do. And he's like, mate, like, you love talking to people. Just go try it. And so I went onto Twitch. I started watching different streamers. I asked a lot of questions, and then I decided, you know what? Okay, I'll start doing Twitch streaming and see where it goes from there. And I told all of my friends on Facebook. I told all of my local friends. And I discovered after a few months that I was really, really, really in love with the idea, like, I can be at home in the evening, but not be alone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it was, is that I started making new friends, and I started finding purpose in being at home. And that's why I've stuck with Twitch, is because it went from, like, I needed, like, love and friendship and support during a really, really hard time to, I have that now. Now I want to provide that for other people.
Yes. Yes. So how I started out, I started out like, my Twitch journey has been like significantly longer than Hermit's. Like, I started streaming on Twitch years ago, but not seriously like Hermit did to get that thing. So to get that support. English. So I was watching my favorite streamer at the time. This guy is amazing. Feel free to go check him out. His name is Sheepdog. I think it's like Sheepdog59. I think. Don't quote me on that. He is a GTA RP streamer. Love me some GTA RP. Haven't watched it in a hot minute, but good shit. And I was big into their community. And one of their community members decided to start streaming, and so I was like, oh, friends with her. And then I went onto their stream. I'm like, I can do this. I have moderately working PC. I can do this with my friends. So I would stream random thing. I wouldn't post it anywhere except for maybe on my Instagram. I'm gonna go live on twitch.tv/AshuriiYuki. I'm just playing games with friends. Like nothing important, right? Like nobody came to watch. I didn't understand how it worked. I just did the thing. And then I stopped. I stopped doing it for a very long time. And then the pandemic happened and we were all stuck at home. And I actually remember the exact week that it happened. It was March of 2020 and all of my conventions got canceled for the year. This was like fresh COVID, fresh. And that was the first time everything shut down. Like my job was like, oh, someone got COVID. We have to shut down because we didn't know what there was no regulations. No one knew what was going on. We were panicking. So I lost my job for 2 weeks because my boss had gotten COVID. And I was like, I ain't doing this. I ain't going in. And so I was like, I'm sitting at home. And once you watch 17 anime in a row for 24 hours, you get a little bored. Like after day 3, after day 3 and you have nothing to do, it's boring. So I was like, I have a Twitch account and we're playing video games all day anyways because everyone's home. They're playing Minecraft. I don't know how long this is gonna last. Let's just go. So we started everything. We're like, okay, branding, let's do the whole shebang. I posted everywhere. And it took me from March to July to get affiliated. And some people tell me that's a really long time. Other people tell me that's really fast. But like it just, that's how I like officially like really jumped into it. And then, the rest is history. And I was like, I love this. And it wasn't until August when Lingering Legacy came out that I quit my job. Loved my job, but I quit it because I needed to take care of this thingy. This thingy was very brokey. Oh no, the Ashuri, she was broken. And I just jumped into this full time, which I'm telling y'all now, don't do what I did. Wait till you're a little bigger, please. Because it's so scary when you are like barely affiliated and you're still pulling like lower numbers. There's no certainty. The only reason I can do this is because Ty pays for rent and I don't have to worry about bills. But if you're thinking about doing this full time and you need it as an income, wait. That's my biggest takeaway from like my whole shebang.
I think that like positively putting like a really, really positive spin on that, Ash, is that if you are doing this full time, ensure that you have other forms of income.
Revenue streams.
When you have friends that support you in what you do, my dudes, like, so I hope you all heard, Ash is not cheapening anything that everyone has done for them. The thing that is important as a content creator is to create multiple forms of revenue so that you don't have to rely on something.
Yes.
Right? Because what that does is it creates stress in your own mind and can create stress with the friends that you've made.
Yes, especially because y'all are our family. We love you, and it's so exciting when you drop the 50 bomb, you drop the 100 bomb, you drop this crazy amount of money that we're all like, why? But we don't want to have to put you in that position to rely on that. Because then that puts a financial stress on you that you do not deserve.
It's supposed to be a two-way street, my dudes, and so that's why I would say that like, exactly.
Yes.
Raziel, like so that's the thing is that like and talking about that is always really, really, really awkward.
Yeah.
So,
but it needs to be talked about.
But it needs to be talked about. So that is why when you see Ash and myself stop and really say thank you. It's because that's genuinely where we are with that. It's like that's the level of gratitude that we have towards that.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we also do is that we work really hard outside of that as well to try and make sure that we can continue creating the content in the space that we love without creating stress on the environment that we've created.
Yes.
So that's a big thing. If you want to become a Twitch streamer full time, my dudes, multiple sources of revenue. Create less stress in the best spot. Like you can find sponsorships. Ash is really good at that. Dingus is not. Stream Elements has like sent me like I think I have 4 or 5 of them. I'm like, oh, get to that eventually. And Ash is like, Hermit, why have you not done this? I'm like, because I'm scared.
They tell me
Don't be scared.
$700, and I'm like, give me. Yeah, Raid Shadow Legends. Will I be doing it a third time? Please no. Please not a third time.
Yeah, but also at the same time, my dudes, being able to reach out to community and saying like, hey, this is a thing that was presented to me. The thing that I do with anything that comes in is I invest it in the things that would make the space more fun to be in, like a better camera or a better monitor, or like better musical equipment, or like new virtual instruments that I can use to make music for people. Invest in what you're doing to create a more wholesome and holistic space, or you don't have to say wholesome necessarily, but goofy space.
Yeah,
my dudes, because that work shows.
It do.
Shows.
So
I think we've officially smacked that question on the head. Ash, if it's all right with you, I need to step outside and use the bathroom really quick. Sorry, my dudes, I'm a human being,
you
and
are
I've been drinking a lot
fine.
Hey, be right back. I should be right back.
I will entertain the crowd. So hi, how are you doing? I just realized I completely forgot to design a BRB screen for this. So we're just, hi, how you doing? I hope you guys have been enjoying this first episode. I know it's going a little long, but that's fine. If you guys have any feedback, feel free to tell us what we can do better. Like, this is the pilot episode, so we don't really know how things are going. We're testing things out. It's complete new territory. So any constructive criticism, constructive, no mean stuff, you can post it in the Discord, you can post it in Twitch Q&A. Would be greatly appreciated. You want me to read the other questions before the rest of yours? Okay, I can do that. But yeah, we want to keep doing this, and I know we're gonna be completely like kind of tangenty with this, but we wanted to make it in a way where it was more of a conversation with you guys rather than like an instructional like 100% educational spiel. Does that make sense, guys? Hi, welcome back. So Darwin says to move on to other people's questions before we ask the rest of his, because he did post a lot. So Moose in Fear ask a question. First question, how do you make 2 videos in one stream look so nice? Mine always looks so janky. Like, are you using Discord for the video? Did you pop out his window? Oh, I should have. Oh, that would have made my life so much easier, Moose. So I didn't pop out his window. What I did, and I can't really show this very well, is he's a display capture, and I just cropped it. And then my camera, because I didn't want to take too time to readjust, so my camera's turned on in Discord, even though it's not working, so that he would be in the right spot. It's really janky, because I didn't do it right. I don't know. Why does it look so good, Hermit? Is it just because your camera?
Oh, why does mine look good?
I mean, because we have my camera, and then we have you, your camera is through Discord, and then I'm capturing Discord. So I'm assuming it's because you have a nice camera and my internet is somehow hanging on for dear life. Mine always looks so janky. So usually that has to do with your internet connection. I just happen to pay for very, very high internet, like God tier internet. And then Hermit's, when it wants to work, is also pretty nice.
For those of you, if you want to know, at the beginning of the pandemic, when I was put on unemployment, I decided to invest in things for said business that I was doing, which was streaming bands. So I don't use both of them. I have 2 Panasonic G85s. Do not, as a starting streamer, start with a DSLR camera.
Don't. Go to Walmart, buy a webcam.
Buy a webcam. Make sure that your audio is done well first. as you move forward, reinvest things that make things better. Eventually, you'll be able to get, if you want to get a DSLR
Mhm.
camera, it's why I can do things like this, where you can see like the freckles on my face
Yes.
for memes.
Nice eyeball.
Hello.
But in
You
reality,
know?
guys, when it comes to like equipment, people give more of a shit about your sound quality than your camera. You could be a square, no one cares. Literally, they're not looking at your face unless they think you're cute. So, but like, other than that, if you sound like garbage, people will care. But if you look like garbage, nobody cares. Like, we do our best to look moderately presentable sometimes, not all the time. I come on here in pajamas. But
Yeah,
like,
I'm in my this tracksuit, bro.
Miyakota, hello! Welcome, Beanie. We're looking at your face. Only you. No boobs, only eyes. I love that meme. And on that note, you can wear whatever clothes you want, revealing, not revealing, as long as it's TOS compliant. Like, I don't, as you guys know, we don't boob here. No boobs, only eyes.
You are not garbage, Rune Mason. I love you.
If you're using an avatar, you only need a camera that is good enough for the reference points of the software to be picked up. That is true. I have a VTuber and my crappy Logitech webcam, love you Logitech, please sponsor me, still works for it. You don't need any high-tech stuff. I've totally worn a bathrobe on stream when I mean, if it works, it works, man. As long as you ain't showing no biddies, you're fine. As long as it's TOS compliant, you do you. Whatever either brings in the views or brings in the paycheck at the end of the month, do it.
Yeah, avatars are great, my dudes.
It's fine. Avatars are expensive, but VRoid Studio is a thing and you can make your own and it's super easy. Yeah, yep, Panda can graciously I helped him make his VTuber model and it's you don't owe me anything, child. Shush. I had fun. The next question we have is from my lovely wifey, Starlight. How do you take care of your voice? Hermit, you can't answer this one. And be conscious of how you're using it on stream. Hermit, you really can't answer this one. I'm finding that my throat gets very scratchy and raspy and cutting my stream short because of it. So Hermit, go ahead and turn your camera off. You're banned. City, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. You got called out. So what I do, you don't see this because usually I don't show like most of my desk on camera. It's not in here right now, but I keep a humidifier. I get one of those little tiny desk humidifiers and I have that going all of stream. I drink a lot of water, but I also drink soda during stream. And the reason for that, one, for zoomies, and two, is because if you get phlegm or gunk in your throat, it will clear it out. And that will protect your vocal cords. So it's all about keeping this clean, but then also knowing not to sing for 6 hours straight and yell a lot so that your neighbors yell at you. But also have cough drops ready.
Don't have things with menthol in it.
Yes.
Actually, it burns you.
Yeah.
So, it is a thing, my dudes. This is an ongoing thing. It depends. Taking care of your voice, my dudes. It depends on what you're doing with your voice. For those of you that know me, I sing a lot. I've taught with my voice teacher. I had a lesson today, right? I was talking to him. I'm like, man, is there anything that I can do? And he said, look, man, like in all honesty, you have to start refining things so that you're not hurting yourself, because most bands, they don't perform for 6 hours. They perform for up to 2, maybe.
Mhm.
Right? The thing is, I'm a very expressive human being. Also, remember that let your equipment do the work for you. Also, if you notice that like you're making, if you're speaking louder because of your headphones, my father and I have this problem where if we have all sound blocked, my dudes, I will speak louder. I'm in the process of trying to find some earbuds that actually allow me to have a little bit of an idea what my voice sounds like in the space that I'm in. I'm just bad at, and I'm refining this over and over and over again. The reason that I also like Ash, I would get a humidifier, but I can't because all of the microphones that I have, if you put water on them, will die.
Yeah. My Blue
I can't
Yeti I
do that
don't
with
care
the audio,
about, so.
the audio equipment that I have here, my dudes.
Mhm.
I can't do that. So,
Yeah.
drinking plenty of water well before you stream,
Hot tea is also
big
very
thing.
good.
hmm Hot tea is very, very good. Also, eating foods that don't gunk you up. Like, I'm sorry, guys, but like eating like hardcore amount of pizza before you stream,
Don't look at me like
nothing.
that.
Hey, I'm just saying a thing. Also, something that you might not know, my friends, chocolate, funnily enough, is actually really, really hazardous on your voice as well. Um, but I mean, for myself, I stepped away from caffeine with the exception of today. I stayed up till 4 like a dingus. Caffeine will help you if you drink it 45 minutes before you stream. If you drink
Yes.
it during stream, your butt's gonna be up until 4 in the morning, and you won't be able to sleep. And that's where real damage starts happening with your voice.
I don't sleep. Um G Fuel is a great replacement for sodas. We get sponsored one day. I tried it on a whim. It's actually super, super healthy for you compared to like Bangs and everything else. Like it has its downside, but most of it is made out of vitamins and fruit extracts. So it's like, it's good. It's going to give you natural energy instead of like nastiness. This is what I use. It does have menthol in it, but my throat, it doesn't get bothered by it. So like when I am streaming for a long period of time and it's a little itchy, I will have Halls. You can get ones without menthol in it, but Halls soothe. Also, they taste like candy. What is the sleep you speak of? Exactly. It's very rare that I sleep.
Hashtag long sleep. Don't joke. Sorry.
Wow. Let's see. What other questions did we have? If you want the powder gamers, yes. Other questions. What has been your biggest obstacle to overcome so far? And while you think on that, I'll be right back.
So, biggest obstacle, my dudes, that I've had to overcome was that for a little while, I was trying to push myself to work really, 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 really hard toward the thing, and I had to learn to take a step back from that. The biggest obstacle, my dudes, was balancing my mental health and my physical health with what I'm doing. So there is a thing, my dudes, where like I was pushing myself a little bit too hard with like trying to make too much stuff. I was spreading myself really, really thin. Love you, Sage, my dude. Appreciate it bits. And I realized that I was just pushing myself way too hard. I was streaming much longer than my body could actually handle because I start at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard. I discovered that if I wasn't paying attention to how my body was feeling, that even though I could do a week where like I would be streaming 6 to 7 hours in a night and I'm only doing 3 nights a week, I was injuring my body. And that kind of calls back to when I streamed 6 days a week. So the biggest hurdle that I've had to try and like figure out is what is both healthy for me, both physically and mentally, and what is also productive at the same time. You have to find that balance, otherwise, you really will end up hurting yourself. You'll also create an instance where anytime that you spend time with your friends, you're not as mentally and physically present with the people that you enjoy being around. It's kind of like, say, you party for 3 or 4 days, and then one of your friends wants to have a really nice hangout with you, and you show up to their house, and basically you just sit on their couch and like, dude, like you're dead. You should go to bed. You're like, yeah, but I want to hang out with you. It's like, dude, like, I love you. Go sleep. So that has been my biggest hurdle, is both mentally telling myself, look, man, you cannot control certain things. The one things that you can control are when you sleep, when you eat, how long you stream, and just being in trust with that. If you stop doing those things, like myself, I've experienced this. You'll start burning out, not because you're not in love with what you're doing, but because your body is literally starting to fail you, my dudes. So that's been my biggest challenge, are those things.
So I was thinking about this while I stepped away. I have a very hard time thinking of what my biggest challenges are because I don't have to deal with them anymore. And this is going to be a piece of advice as well as telling like reflecting on what my biggest challenges are. Once you get to a point that you're doing this the way Herman and I are, get yourself a head mod / a manager. My Bean is not here right now because he is prepping for finals this week, and I'm so proud of him. I love Bat. Y'all know world's best mod, Batican Isaacin, best piano player there is. Every time we do a poll, instead of having what the poll actually is, Bat sneaks in there. Bat's the best mod, and it wins every time. But having a manager takes away from having to deal with what your biggest issues are, because they will deal with them for you, and then they are no longer a problem. For example, one of my biggest problems before I had Bat really taking the managerial position of being my Twitch mod was really like planning things out, planning my streams ahead of time, getting everything done on like a decent like time basis, and then networking with people, and then having like a shared space with my mods to be like, okay, this is what's going on. Whereas now that Bat's taken more of a front seat as a manager, not just someone that like watches stream and checks for bad people, we sit down every week and we go, okay, what is doing well, what is not doing well, and we actually have a schedule and a post schedule to get everything out there. And because of him getting me in that mindset, we can now streamline everything. And it takes so much off, like so much of the stress, because I'm very bad at managing my own stress and also managing myself. He's not just my Twitch manager. He literally manages my life. I'm not kidding. Get yourself someone to do that for you if you can.
Yeah, Hermit.
Hey, once Bat graduates, man, he might be doing this for his profession.
It'll be fun.
Because Bat's good at it. He's good. He's so good. Kind of like Auntie Elfie. What isn't the joke with Auntie Elfie the most famous streamer that hasn't streamed?
Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna be Bat too. They're gonna be a powerhouse. Both of them. It's gonna be spoopy.
Do we have any more questions, Ash?
Yeah, we have a lot. He marked the ones that we should answer, so we have a couple more if that's okay. Like I saw Ash and Nephew. Yes. Did you do any prep work or planning before you started, or was it let's wing this and see how it goes? We've kind of answered that one. At least I did. But for you, Hermit, did you just wing it, or did you prep anything?
I kind of winged it at first, and then I looked up overlays. So it took me about a month to start looking into things. I remember my first streams were like really basic, which is fine. But then I think it was after I met Super Murgatroyd, that's when I started like looking at like making my own branding, doing my own things. Yeah, we need to know about mayonnaise because an instrument, but do you want mayonnaise as an instrument?
Anything is an instrument, as long like it does not matter if you can make a beat with it. It is an instrument.
Mayonnaise is an instrument. Okay.
Did you really name it mayonnaise?
It's not. No, the name of the company, Ash, is Mayonnaise.
Okay.
Mayonnaise. And now I'm gonna hold. I'm just gonna hold this for now.
You're just gonna hold it. Okay, here's a good question. Sorry, I'm reading through like the many that Darwoman has put in here. What is something about your Twitch journey so far that you wished you knew earlier? Do you wish you had known sooner, or do you think it has allowed you to grow more as a streamer? Hopefully,
that's a multifaceted question. Things that I wish that I'd known at the beginning. That even though having moderators is like that's what you need to do, you need to step up and be your own advocate.
Yes.
Most of all, my dudes, do not put the sole responsibility of guarding your space and what you do on moderators. One, it's not fair to them, and two, it doesn't help you develop your own skills. So I've been having to do that recently, where I've had a couple situations that I've had to work with, where I had some friends that were uncomfortable, and I realized like I had not developed the skills as a leader yet in order to try and like manage them as skillfully as possible. That's why I took so much time to try and like learn better communication skills to try and make it easier for myself. So if I had known at the beginning what skills I would have needed, I would have said, okay, well, this is the space that I create. I need to start taking a more active role in being present with some of the issues that arise in stream, because I feel like it is a compassionate thing to do for those that guard your streams, where it's like you rely on them, but also you need to be at the table, like a round table with them, my dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Do that.
Yes.
Love you, Alfie.
As a mud for image. Much love, Bean. Much absolute love. That guitar is so pretty.
Oh, also, it's the shrub guitar.
Yes, it is the shrub guitar. Okay. I think we have one last question. Let me pull it back up. Sorry. I had a text message from one of my mods. It's important to communicate with your mods, both through chat, but also that's why I keep my phone on me. And I have Discord muted, but that's why I'm fine using my phone on stream, because my mods will text me something that I'm like, they have a question that they don't want to ask directly through chat, and then I can see it and be like, okay, we've had this communication, it is good. So do you ever, ooh, this one's good, do you ever feel a sense of personal pressure when rated by huge groups of people?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It terrifies me. It scares my ever-living biddles. I love it, but it scares me.
I would say to some degree over time, this is actually a piece of advice that I tell you, like, it's the other side of when you raid out, my dudes. I will, to some degree, try not to look at the number of people that come in. I don't even read it aloud. And how do you manage that personal pressure, though? So to where I'm actually, funnily enough, part of that is about internal personal work, and what that is for myself is that I've had to learn to value myself and who I am for me, so I don't have to go into my head about how people perceive me. The reality is, my dudes, people's perception of you says more about them than it is about you. So there was an evening where I got rated by, I think, a party of 150 out of nowhere. It was a Just Chatting streamer that does something on like horror podcasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw it, my eyes got all. I still got. You will experience that shock.
You will panic.
You will panic. Take a deep breath and remember, I just have to be me. Be authentically yourself, which is terrifying. And it's true. Like Rune said, every single person is a different measure of what huge means, right? And so for myself, when it was the Harry Horror Show rated me a while back, out of nowhere, I don't remember why. I just remembered to essentially just be myself. Actually, a great thing that I would say, my dudes, is that when you get rated, develop not necessarily develop kind of like a script that like authentically represents you. So a good example, Ash, do you mind if I do, like, I've memorized
I have mine too, so you go ahead.
It's not inauthentic. It's like, welcome in raiders. I'm the Reluctant Hermit. I make sound alerts for streamers. If you need raid, bit, sub, or follow alerts, I make those specific to your channel. If you want your channel to stand apart and it's themed that way, my commissions are now open. I stream Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 Mountain Standard, 8 Central, 9 Eastern, and 2 a.m. UK time. And on Mondays, I read books in my Discord to our friends, which are then uploaded to YouTube. If you want to find my socials, which include my commissions and all of my channels, including my Discord, please hit ! socials, welcome into the shrubbery. Then I sing to them because I want to celebrate that space.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a couple other funny memes that I like incorporating.
Yeah. Ooh, Firebug, thank you so much for the sub. And why did I just hear my phone talk to me? That was weird. Sorry. And then also thank you so much to Meister God 101 for dropping a follow. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. What we do here on my channel when we get rated in, I also have a script. And the reason why you want to have a script is so it's what you memorize so that when you're in panic, you have something to say. Because if you haven't memorized, you can still be in panic mode, but be like, script, let's go. So what we say here is, hi, my name is AshuriiYuki. I'm a game designer by trade, but I'm also a full-time content creator here on Twitch. We play a lot of horror games. We say the word fuck a lot. And my community and my sons like to make me cry. And then we play the Wolfpack video, which it's a meme compilation that shows people how chaotic we are. Like, and I love that video. Love that video so much.
It's perfect.
It's great. It's literally perfection. Also, if there's anyone new in chat right now, I'm gonna say this now, and like you are not from Hermit's community and you are finding us organically, or I know you on a different platform, feel free to tell us where you know us from. So that way we can give you all the love. And like, it's always great to know where people find you from, especially if you don't recognize the name, because then you're just like, hey, I'm doing something right.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, don't look directly into your camera. It's really awkward. Always look next to your camera because like, okay, this is me looking directly into my camera. It feels really awkward. But if you look past your camera, it gives the same feeling. Like right now I'm looking directly over it and it gives the same feeling, but it doesn't feel weird. You know, like for the streamer, it does not feel Akko Taco.
I only make direct eye contact with my camera when someone really needs to hear something. And that's usually when someone's having a bad day. You know?
I met you once 15 years ago in a blind alley on Bourbon Street. God, I was a baby. We need to talk about that, bud. Ugh.
Was that our last question, Ash?
That was our last question, Bean.
Whole of beans.
So if there's any questions in chat or if you need to go, Hermit, I totally understand. But this has been fun. And I hope if anyone has any like constructive criticism, feel free to post it in the Discord. That way we can like learn from this so that the next episode's even better.
But more than anything, my dudes, appreciate you also very much. And thank you for supporting AshuriiYuki in these endeavors. She is a brilliant producer and streamer and deserves all the love.
Thank you,
my dudes.
Beanie. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Go follow and subscribe to The Reluctant Hermit and go commission all sound alerts from him.
Love you guys.
Bye.